What started as a weekend hack is now one of the fastest growing open source projects in GitHub history. Over 100,000 stars, 2 million visitors in a single week. Today we're covering the official introduction of Openclaw, the open agent platform that's rewriting the rules for personal AI assistance. You'll understand exactly why developers are calling it the future of AI, and if Openclaw is right for your workflow. The weekend project that exploded. Let's start with how this whole thing began. November 2025. Peter Steinberger, an Austrian developer, hacked together a weekend project he called WhatsApp Relay. The idea was simple. Connect Claude AI to WhatsApp so you could chat with your assistant from your phone. No browser tabs, no special apps. Just your normal messaging interface talking to a powerful AI. He shared it with a few friends, then posted it on GitHub. And the internet lost its mind. Think of it like dropping a match on dry kindling. The project went from 0 to 9,000 GitHub stars in 24 hours. By day 3, 60,000 plus stars. That's one of the fastest growth rates in GitHub history. People weren't just starring the repo. They were buying Mac Minis specifically to run it. Cloudflare stock jumped on the viral buzz. Security researchers dove into the code. Tech media covered it like a product launch from Apple or Google. Here's the crazy part. This wasn't a company with millions in funding and a marketing team. This was one developer's weekend project that happened to solve a problem everyone had. AI, assistants that live in browser tabs instead of where you actually communicate. The growth was so explosive that Steinberger couldn't keep up. Issues and pull requests flooded in faster than any solo maintainer could handle. The project had become something much bigger than its humble origins. 3 names in 2 months. Now, let's talk about the naming chaos, because this project has been through more identities than most startups see in a decade. The original name was Claude, a playful pun on Claude with a claw. It felt perfect. The community loved it. The mascot was a lobster. Everything clicked. Until Anthropic's legal team politely asked them to reconsider. The name was too similar to Claude. Trademark conflict. Fair enough, but devastating timing. This happened right at peak viral growth when the project needed stability. So, the community scrambled. 5 a.m. Discord brainstorm session. Someone suggested Moltbot. Molting represents growth. Lobsters shed their shells to become something bigger. The metaphor was meaningful. The name stuck. For about 3 weeks. Think of molting like the process it describes. You shed your comfortable shell, go through a vulnerable period, and emerge bigger. That's exactly what happened. Moltbot was the vulnerable transition phase. Functional, but awkward. As one popular tech YouTuber pointed out, it never quite rolled off the tongue. Pronunciation was unclear. Moltbot, Moltbot, the branding felt temporary because it was. On January 29th, 2026, the project rebranded again. Openclaw. And this time, they did their homework. Trademark searches came back clear. Domains were purchased, migration code was written. The name was built to last. Why Openclaw makes sense. So, why Openclaw? Let's break down the name itself. Open has 3 meanings. First, open source. The entire codebase is public on GitHub under the MIT license. Anyone can read it, audit it, modify it, or contribute. Second, open to everyone. No gatekeeping, no invite codes, no premium tiers locking features. Third, community-driven. Development happens in public with input from thousands of contributors. Claw honors the lobster heritage. It's a nod to where the project came from. The mascot is still a lobster. Some things are sacred. The claw represents both the origins and the core metaphor of continuous growth through transformation. Quick reminder, if you're finding this helpful, that subscribe button helps us make more videos like this. Now, back to what makes Openclaw different. Think of the name like a mission statement compressed into 2 words. Open everything, community-owned, built on the foundation of where we've been. It captures both the philosophy and the history. The stability matters too. After 3 name changes, the community needed assurance this one would stick. The trademark homework, the domain purchases, the migration planning, all of that signals permanence. Openclaw is the final form. Your assistant, your machine. Your rules. Now, let's talk about what Openclaw actually is. The tagline says it all. Your assistant, your machine, your rules. Openclaw is an open agent platform that runs on your infrastructure, not Amazon servers, not Google's cloud, your laptop, your home server, your VPS. You choose where it lives, you control the data, it works from the chat apps you already use. WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Google Chat, even Twitch now. Wherever you communicate, your AI assistant follows. No need to switch to a proprietary app. The privacy model is fundamentally different from SaaS assistants. When you use ChatGPT or most other AI tools, your data lives on their servers. They can read it, they can train on it, they can sell insights to advertisers. You're trusting them with everything. Openclaw flips that completely. Your conversations stay on your machine. Your memories live in local markdown files. Your API keys are yours, the AI. Provider sees your prompts, but your context, your history, your files, all local. Think of it like the difference between Gmail and running your own email server. Gmail is convenient, but they read your mail. Self-hosted email is more work, but totally private. Openclaw brings that self-hosted philosophy to AI assistants. The technical architecture supports this. A single gateway process handles all your messaging channels. It runs locally or on a server you control. All channels connect to the same AI brain, same memory, same context, just multiple access points. What's new in this release? Moving on to what shipped with the Openclaw rebrand, this wasn't just a name change. It came with real feature updates. New channels were added. Twitch plugin lets your AI interact with chat during streams. Google Chat integration brings Openclaw into workspace environments. Both expand where your assistant can exist. New model support was added. Kimi K 2.5 and Xiaomi Memo V2 Flash. More options means better performance for different use cases. Some models excel at code, some at conversation, some at cost efficiency. More choices, better optimization. Web chat got image support. You can now send images through the web interface just like you can in messaging apps. Visual context matters. Being able to say what's in this screenshot and actually show the screenshot makes the AI dramatically more useful. Security saw 34 commits focused on hardening. After the viral explosion, security researchers found vulnerabilities. The team took that seriously. They released machine-checkable security models. They're following security best practices publicly documented at docs.openclaw.ai. Think of these updates like a product launch from a mature company, multiple features shipping together. Security taken seriously, documentation updated. It signals the project is moving from scrappy startup to stable platform. The caveat, Peter mentions, matters. Prompt injection remains an industry-wide unsolved problem. Bad actors can trick AI with cleverly crafted prompts. This isn't an Openclaw weakness. It's a fundamental AI safety challenge. Use strong models. Study the security docs. Don't give untrusted users elevated permissions. The community that built it. Let's talk about the Claw crew. That's what the community calls itself. And the numbers are staggering. Over 100,000 GitHub stars in 2 months. That puts Openclaw in the top 0.01% of GitHub repositories. 2 million visitors in a single week. Active Discord with thousands of members. Pull requests and issues flooding in daily. But it's more than just numbers. Peter Steinberger explicitly thanked every contributor. The Claw tributors who shipped code. The people who filed issues. The Discord members providing support. Everyone who tried the project and gave feedback. The project grew beyond what one person could maintain. So, Peter is adding maintainers, setting up processes to handle the influx of contributions, figuring out how to pay maintainers properly, full-time if possible. Think of this like the transition from GarageBand to Stadium Tour. The music is the same, the passion is the same, but the scale requires infrastructure. Maintainers are that infrastructure. The community involvement goes deep. Skills created by the community number over 700. People are building plugins, writing documentation, creating tutorials, hosting meetups. It's a genuine grassroots ecosystem, and the call to action is clear. If you want to help, contribute code or sponsor the organization on GitHub. Funding maintainers is the priority. Open source sustainability requires paying the people who do the work. Security focus and road ahead. Security is the top priority going forward. Let me explain why that matters so much. Personal A, AI assistants have unprecedented access. They read your emails, they control your computer, they access your files. A vulnerability in Openclaw could expose everything. The 34 security commits in this release are just the start. Machine-checkable security models let researchers verify guarantees mathematically. Not just test for bugs, but prove properties hold. The team is collaborating with security researchers actively. When vulnerabilities are found, they're patched publicly. The open source model means more eyes reviewing the code, more people finding edge cases, more collective intelligence hardening the system. Think of security like the foundation of a house. You can add rooms later, you can redecorate, but if the foundation cracks, everything is at risk. Getting security right now prevents disasters later. The road ahead includes more than just security. Gateway reliability is a focus. The system needs to handle millions of messages without crashing. Polish and user experience improvements make it easier to set up. Clearer error messages, better documentation. Support for more models and providers is coming. The AI landscape moves fast. New models launch monthly. Openclaw needs to stay current. Anthropic, OpenAI, local models, specialized providers. The more options, the more users can optimize for their needs. The final form. Let me zoom out. What does Openclaw represent in the bigger picture? This is the open source community proving they can move faster than big tech. Claude launched in 2023. 3 years later, Anthropic hasn't shipped a self-hosted assistant that remembers things and takes action. Openclaw did it in 2 months. The lobster metaphor comes full circle here. Molting isn't a one-time event. Lobsters molt repeatedly throughout their lives. Each time they grow, they shed and transform again. Openclaw has already molted 3 times with the name changes. It will molt again as features evolve and scale increases. The difference between Openclaw and proprietary alternatives is fundamental. One is controlled by a corporation optimizing for profit. The other is controlled by a community optimizing for user value. One keeps you dependent on their platform. The other gives you the code to run yourself. Think of it like Linux versus Windows. Linux took decades to match Windows in desktop usability, but it won in servers, phones, embedded systems, and infrastructure. Because open wins when the community has the freedom to adapt. Openclaw is early. There are rough edges. Security needs work. Setup is more complex than a SaaS product, but the trajectory is clear, and the philosophy resonates with developers tired of walled gardens. If you want to get started, go to openclaw.ai. One command installs everything. curl-https://openclaw.ai/install.sh pipebash. Then run the onboard wizard. Pick your channels. Configure your AI model. You're live in minutes. And if you want to dive deeper into how Openclaw works, check out our video on the architecture and skills system. I'll link it right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, the lobster has molted into its final form. Welcome to Openclaw.